All right, hello everybody. Welcome to the Mikestand. As always, we're going to wait a few minutes to give people a chance to come in here. And you're going to notice off the top, of course, pun maybe somewhat intended there. I went out and got my hair cut today, so all my hair is gone. Of course, it'll probably back to a good bushy look, probably within a couple months or so. It's usually about how long it takes. Um, Yeah, so I'm the bald guy now, as it were. Anyways, I said we're just gonna wait a few minutes to let people. Hopefully, they'll be here soon. Ah. Get along, gang, get along, gang. Everyone's so special in its own way. Get along, gang, get along, gang. Get up with the get along, gang. When you know you're okay. Get up with a get along gang. Oh, get up. Mercy me. Mercy you to shine on you. Mercy me. Mercy you. Walk away all over you. Anyway, we're of course just waiting, waiting, waiting on the world to change. Yes, we're waiting, waiting on the world to change. As we learn with you forever, and you gotta be forever. When we're waiting, waiting on the world to change. Yes, we're waiting, waiting on the world to change. When the fire burns all the way. Let's see. Super Mario, Super Mario, Super Mario, yeah. Super Mario World is a blast from the past. Super Mario World, you got to kick back. Super Mario, Super Mario. Hey, what happened to your hair? Well, I'll tell you, RJ, I got it cut today. I told you were going to want to come in and see. I told you I was going to eventually get it done sooner or later. So thank you for the like and the share. Hopefully, I'm just still waiting for a few more people to show up. Hopefully, we can get some more people to show up. I'm actually. You might want to be sticking around too, RJ, because um, you got all of them cut. Yep. Yeah. Just imagine when we do open mic night on Sunday, what how many people are going to be surprised. Unless, of course, some of them show up here. I know Lorenzo's doing a stream, so among other people. So, um, yeah, you might want to help me out by liking. Well, I know you already liked it, and if you shared it, see if hey, come see Mike's new do. Yeah. So again, we're just waiting, waiting for a few more people. RJ, but you might want to stick around, as I said, because I'm gonna start out with your stories, with a couple of stories from your. Actually, I've got all together. I think I got, let's see, 1, 6, 1, 7, 8, and two. I think I have 10 stories altogether. 7 anime, one comic. The comic book one's going to be the first one. That's from the comic awards. And a couple animation ones at the end, and of course, the. Yeah. So, anyways, So how you doing, RJ? Having a good day? I noticed you didn't have a show last night, or was it two? Actually, it was 2 nights ago. Actually, I believe on Tuesday. I believe. I know one of the last couple of nights you didn't have a show on, so but then I think you warned us you weren't going to. So la di dee da dee da, la di dee da dee da, la di dee da dee da, la di dee da dee da. Yeah. So, anyways, so we're at the 6 minute mark now. Nope, it was last night. I was folding posters and packing. Yeah, I knew it was sometime the last, and then I tried to call you to find out what was going on. I thought I remembered hearing you say something like you were going to be um, not doing a stream one of the days this week, um, but that might have been last week. You had set one of the days aside for something. So so let's see. Yes, we're waiting, waiting, waiting on the world to change. Yes, we're waiting, waiting. So, RJ, tomorrow night I'll be finishing up September 1938, and then we'll be kind of breezing through over the next few weeks, October and November of 1938, on the historical comic retrospect, 3 weeks each, and I won't be streaming tomorrow because I don't stream on Fridays. And yeah, I remember you were saying that, but then last Friday you did stream, and I was like, I thought he wouldn't stream. uh Anyways, hopefully I can get hopefully back go this I can get back go finally settled in. I start getting him on here regularly again. Yeah, so 7:31, 7:32. Okay. So at the 8 minute mark, I'll kind of go over what's on tap for tonight. Once we get to the 8 minute mark here. Last Friday was a weird night. We were snowed in, so my regular plans got derailed. Okay, so that explains it. Okay, so anyways, we're past the 8 minute mark, so I guess it would be a good time. So what's on tap for tonight? Of course, we're going to be looking at your latest article on your comic book awards. That'll be the first thing we'll hit. Also, um, we're actually going to have 7 anime articles tonight, as the one from your site is a kind of a profile piece, anime characters who can teach you how to win on at online casinos, from Raven O'Weiner. From CBR, we basically we have 10 stories altogether, 2 from your site and the other 8 are from CBR. So among the CBR articles, have some profile piece. We got some trailers talked about, some release information. Yeah. Let's see. Okay. I'm just reading these. Let's see. We got some more, talking a little bit more about the new reboot for the Bastard anime. I guess they're making it a series now. It was an OVA before. Let's see. Also, Rising of the Shield Hero, the second season got its trailer out. We're going to talk a little bit about dark fantasy animes. Uh, Toradora celebrating 15 years. The best isekai anime to watch after reincarnated as a slime. That's all the anime stories we're going to be looking at, and then we actually have a couple of actually we got a couple of animation stories, cartoon stories. Um, Let me see the the latest season of Young Justice on HBO Max. They got a new trailer out, as well as Yardley Smith had some interesting things to say about fans. Another case of somebody attacking fans. Oh, we got 4 people here. Hello, everybody. Um, if you guys can like and share the stream, that'd be appreciated. You may notice I have a kind of a new look. This is a look I've done before. Um, anyways, I said, if you haven't already, if you can like and share the stream, that'd be appreciated. So we can get some more friendly people in here, of course. And so, with all that being done and said, without any further ado, we'll probably get started on getting to the articles in just a moment here, as soon as I get everything prepped. Okay. Alrighty then. So let me get the screen shared. And if you do have anything you'd like to add to the conversation, feel free to. If there's something, let me see. I know. Okay. Yardley Smith. We're gonna get dressed down by Lisa Simpson. Apparently that's what the article. Apparently, I don't know if it's exactly dressing down. I do know the phrase "fu" was used somewhere in that, according to the article. So, but that'll be more towards the end. So you're gonna want to stick around for the whole show, my friend. Anyways, without any further ado, let's get started here. And here's our first article we're gonna look at right here. Pow! Best Comic Artist of 2021 scores with perfect 10. Hey, Critical Blast wraps up its Best of 2021 awards announcements with the Best Comics Artist of 2021. In parentheses, of course, but we're not completely done. We still have our bombshell of the year to announce later, unparenthesed. Among the notable nominees this year, David Hahn brought in 4.35% of the vote for his work on Impossible 2 with Carl Kessel. Marco McCagney stepped up with 7.27.25% of the vote for Monster MD with Clint Helinski, while Clint Helinski took 8.7% with Pirate Queen, and Tim Lim garnered 11.59% of Common America. So just under 12% there. Which brings us to the top 3 artists among this year's awards. In third place, we have Brian Bolondo with 14.49, so just shy of 14.5% of the tally for his work on Bad Bug Media's Pocus Hocus. Just ahead of him is Alexia Veldhosen in second place with 18.84% of the vote for her work on the anthropomorphic samurai squirrel epic 47 Furious Tales. Yep. Kind of a very interesting, a little pun, play on words a bit with the intentional grammar misusage, just like in the anime fairy tales. And this graph looks kind of nice, kind of color scheme, and this graph you put together, this pie chart you put together, does look kind of cool. I'll have to admit that. Um, so here we go. Which brings us to the top vote getter. If you've been following along with our best comics of 2021 and best comics writer of 2021, then it will hardly be a surprise to learn that Perfect 10's Pal Rodricks um, was the favorite of the readers who participated in this year's voting, with 24.64%, nearly a quarter of all votes cast. Rodricks' award makes 2021 a sweep for the Genuine Comics imprint. Congratulations to the entire crew at Genuine Comics. Click to enlarge. Well, RJ, I just got through done with that article. With is there anything you'd like to add to the conversation here? Anything, any commentary you want to give on the situation? I am an Excel monster. You an Excel? What in? Are you talking about in a comic book, or are you talking about or are you talking about like in the anime, like Excel Saga the anime? There were no DC comics or Marvel comics listed in that graph. Excel, the the spreadsheet program. Oh, okay. Okay. Um, yeah. Oh, yeah. I did. Yeah, I saw that mentioned in one of the articles from. I think I covered it. I don't know if I covered it yesterday or the day before. Um, yeah, but I covered another one of your award articles where where I know you had mentioned that nothing from DC or nothing from DC or Marvel got on the list, which just tells you the state of mainstream comics. And when they can't even get listed on an independent you know award show for a comics, that should tell you right there just how much they're failing at what they're doing. So, anyways, that, so with that, I guess we can move on to the next article, which is actually an anime article from your site. The first of like, I think it's like seven anime articles we're gonna do tonight. Six of after these two, the next 8 articles we're doing are all on CBR, but including the Yardley Smith one. So here we go. Here's an interesting article. Um, Interesting article. In fact, RJ, you might want to see if you can get Raven to come check this out. That I'm covering their article. I don't know if Raven's a guy or a girl, mind you, but whoever the author of this article is, Raven Owiner, or if I'm pronouncing that right. Um, Anime characters who can teach you how to win at online casinos. I know that submitted by Raven Owiner on Thursday at 9:23, and I'm guessing that's 9:23 a.m. at least my time. Um, and I know they've been really talking a lot about these, gambling animes. Gambling has been a part of our society since time immemorial. So it is no surprise that it features in various aspects of our lives. People bet on almost anything from horse races to election results, and there are even movies about gambling. Uh huh. If you are an online punter that also enjoys watching anime, you should be pleased to know that there are several betting themed anime are available today. Some of them have become popular for perfectly depicting the atmosphere in the casinos in Vegas. In this article, we will be looking at some anime characters that can teach you how to win at online casinos. Kind of very interesting, the first choice here, Kakegurui. I've seen this anime before. I'm kind of wondering how they would explain how that one can help you win at online gaming, but I guess we'll find out soon enough. RJ, do you have anything you want to add about Raven at all? Like, who they are and stuff like that? All right. Well, I guess I'll just continue on. Hopefully, you'll chime in with something soon. Kakegurui, which this is one I've seen. I can tell that Raven, whoever they are, I don't know. Again, don't know if it's a guy or a girl. Um, but they apparently are into Kakegurui as well. I've seen it. It's a pretty interesting one, if not somewhat surreal. And you'll get what I mean if you ever have a chance to watch it. But anyways, so here we go. Kakegurui, compulsive gambler, is one of those anime that portrays the gambling world excellently. It was inspired by Homura Kawamoto's gambling manga series and released by Netflix. The series aired between July of 2017 and September of 2017. Interestingly, all the action happens in a school known as Hyakao Private Academy. The school trains its students to be future leaders and professionals by making them participate in different betting games as an online pokies, Australia aristocrat. Um, Students gamble with their money and are judged based on the outcome of their bets against their peers. Excuse me a moment. I've got to go tend to my dog. She's barking again. I'll be right back. Let's see. Okay. I don't gamble. Yeah. I'll be right back. I got to go tend to my dog. She's barking up a storm again. I'll be right back. All right. Anyways, I'm back. Oh, so anyways, let's continue with the article here. Students with poor gambling skills are classified as quote unquote house pets. Things take an even more interesting turn when Yumeko Jabami joins the school. Unlike other students, Yumeko didn't join Hayakao to become a future leader or expert. She's a compulsive gambler that simply enjoys gambling. Yumeko goes on to show herself as an unstoppable gambler regardless of the risk involved or the size of the bet or what she bets on. Some you wouldn't be surprised at some of the bets she does. Um, Thanks to her passion for bets, she eventually starts to disrupt the established hierarchy in Hayakao. Um, this threatens the student council and they attempt to stop her. However, Yumeko is just too good. All right. So moving on to the next number two here. Let's see. All right. Gyakyu Barai Kaiji. Also known as The Ultimate Survivor, this anime was initially a manga that was first released by Nobuyuki Fukumoto in 1996. Excuse me a moment. Gotta go off. I'm right here for a moment. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Anyways, okay, so here we go. The franchise remained in print until 2007, when the anime adaptation was created by Madhouse. Kaiji Ultimate Survivor had 26 episodes and aired until April 2008. The anime was so successful that Nippon TV released a sequel that was called Kaiji Against All Rules. After that, a live film trilogy was also released. So this manga, think about this now. Think about this now. This manga was popular. It got an anime. The anime ended up being so popular, it got a second season, and then the second season was just so popular that they made a film trilogy out of it. Wow. Ah. You may be wondering what's so special about Kaiji. It's all in the plot. The main character is Kaiji Ito, a drunk that does nothing productive with his time. He eventually finds himself in an unfortunate situation in which he incurs a huge debt. So he has no choice but to sober up and start gambling on a cruise ship. There is a good amount of gambling on the ship, but danger is never far away. You can watch this exciting gambling anime on Crunchyroll. Hmm. Number three, legendary gambler Tetsuya. Like most anime, legendary gambler Tetsuya used to be a gambler before it debuted. Um, used to be a gambler before it debuted on our TV screens. Had 20 episodes that aired from October 2000 to March 2001. The anime follows the story of a student that goes on to outshine his master, Tetsuya. Tetsuya is a skilled gambler that plays mahjong, but despite his talent, he doesn't mind cheating now and then. According to him, quote, "It's only cheating when you get caught, when you are caught." Isn't that the credo of all cheaters? It's only cheating if you get caught. Until then, it's a winning strategy. Unquote. But isn't that the credo of all cheaters? It's only cheating if you get caught. Anyways, what makes this anime even more thrilling is that it was inspired by the true story of Takehiro Irokawa, a gambler that was nicknamed Horoki Mahjong. He lived in Japan in the aftermath of the Second World War, though the show romanticizes a negative aspect of the gambling world. It is also realistic. Um, the characters in this anime do not view cheating as something negative. Instead, they consider it to be a skill. And I've heard of some people like that. They have, you know, cheating is a skill apparently. So, um, yeah. So, anyways, number 4, Akagi, the genius who descended. Akagi has some similarities with legendary gambler Tetsuya, um, as it is also set in post World War II Japan. As the country struggles with the effects of the Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombings, Shigeru Akagi goes around the country showing extraordinary gambling at the tender age of 13. Now that is quite a, at it, 13, 15-year-olds in Japan, they're actually given more credit than here in the States. They're like perceived as being smarter and more mature. I mean, many protagonists in many anime series are in that 13 to 15-year-old range, and I think in Japan, 15 is the age of consent. So he starts his journey by helping a compulsive gambler who was in great debt. Nago would have lost his life not for some strange advice from Akagi that helps him to win his final bet. The young boy then proceeds to beat the members of the Yakuza gang himself in a game of mahjong. Though people start noticing his incredible gambling skills, his life is far from perfect as he's on the run from the police. Final thoughts. Animes have been the favorite pastime of people around the world for decades. One of the major reasons for this is the flexibility of the genre, which is true, and I know a lot of people have been talking about that. Flash himself, and Yellow Flash, has talked about that when he's covered it. We've seen it on a number of occasions with a number of the articles I've covered. So over the years, animes have been produced with various themes, gambling. Um, the shows listed in this article will help you win at online casinos. So there we go with that one. So we're doing 2 of the 10 here. We're at 35-minute mark already. So, um, anyways, as we prepare to move on to the next article, which now will be on CBR for the rest of the time here. And of course, we've covered this story a little bit too on other sites as well, like Bounding into Comics and um. But yeah, so Bastard, which was originally done as a OVA, is now getting a full anime series. So Bastard trailer reveals new details about Netflix's anime revival. Anime reboot of Kazushi Hagiwara's classic fantasy manga debuts a suitably edgy first trailer that reveals more of the show's cast and crew. Article by Michael Lacerna, published 12 hours ago. The first trailer for the new Bastard anime dropped. In addition to introducing the series' power-hungry anti-hero, Dark Schneider, the trailer also reveals that the new series will be 24 episodes long, which will be released in 2 parts. The trailer also reveals more of the self-described, quote, heavy metal dark fantasy, unquote, show's cast and crew, which now includes the voice actors Kanai Ito, The Devil is a Part-Timer, Tomokazu Sugita, Assassination Classroom, Kensho Ono, Bungo Stray Dogs, and now Toyama from Nisekoi. Art direction for the new show will be handled by Kazuhiro Inoue, who previously worked on Mobile Suit Gundam, Iron Blooded Orphans, and Zombieland Saga. Right now, of course, I'm part of my anime watching. I'm watching Iron Blooded Orphans right now. The anime will feature 3D CGI work by Studio Felix Film, which assisted in the production of uh, Gleipnir, and Phantasy Star Online 2 episode Oracle. Yeah, that was the other one, Bastard Returns, which we had already covered. The new Bastard reboot was originally announced by Netflix in early February. The series is being produced by Warner Brothers Animation Japan, which Netflix also partnered with to bring JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Star Ocean, to its streaming service as an exclusive. The new show is being helmed by director Takaharu Ozaki, who previously headed up the production of the controversial Goblin Slayer anime. The series is being produced by Leiden Films, the studio behind the anime adaptation of the heroic legend of Arslan and one of 2021's biggest hits, Tokyo Revengers. Previously announced cast members include Attack on Titan's Taniyama, or Kisho Taniyama, as Dark Schneider, Sword Art Online Alternative Gun Gale Online's Tomori Kusunoki as Nodo Yoko, as Tia Nodo Yoko. The original Bastard manga was created by Kazushi Hagiwara and was originally published through Shueisha's Weekly Shonen Jump magazine in 1988. Hagiwara's work was one of the biggest hits of the late 80s and early 90s, selling over 30 million copies before going on hiatus in 2009. The series is set in a dark fantasy dystopia inspired by classic heavy metal album art and Dungeons and Dragons. The story focuses on Dark Schneider, a powerful wizard who once tried to take over the world. till his soul was sealed within the body of a young boy. However, worldwide war breaks out and threatens to destroy all of humanity. Schneider is reluctantly released from his prison by the priestess Tia Nodo Yoko, who hopes that his power will be enough to stop an even more dangerous ancient threat from destroying the world entirely. The final premiere date for this series has yet to be announced, but it is currently scheduled to premiere sometime before the end of 2022. The series will be streamed exclusively through Netflix. Let's see now, so I'm getting ready to move on to the next article here. All right. All right. All right, so a little bit to people back, okay? Rising of the Shield Hero Season 2 trailer introduces a mysterious new character. The latest trailer for the Rising of the Shield Heroes second season details Naofumi's next quest and a mysterious new addition to his adventuring party. Now, mind you, this series got some controversy in that it dealt directly with the Me Too situation. Really went on that about the idea of false accusations too. Let's see. Article by Michael Lacerna published 10 hours ago. A new trailer for The Rising of the Shield Hero Season 2 released. A new English subtitled trailer sees the titular hero, Naofumi, and his two most trusted traveling companions, Raphtalia and Philo, setting out on a journey to stop the rampage of a legendary beast, the Spirit Tortoise. At the end of the trailer, they meet a new character, Ost Horai, who begged the heroes to kill her. Horai will play a major role in the events of the next season. Will be voiced by actor Kana Hanazawa, who previously starred in Dorara and Cells at Work. The new season of the fantasy series is guaranteed to premiere sometime next April. The Isekai series tells the story of Naofumi Iwatani, a university student who finds himself transported to a fantasy world. So it's kind of an isekai type anime. Naofumi is named one of this world's 4 new cardinal heroes and is gifted a magical shield. While the other heroes receive a great deal of support in their exploits, Naofumi is betrayed by the leaders of the kingdom and stripped of all of his belongings and status. Forced to rebuild his reputation from rock bottom, Now, Fumi sets out with a new pair of companions to help the people of his new world and unravel a mystery that threatens to destroy all of reality. While the series was initially criticized for its use of a false sexual assault allegation as a plot point, the show has since become a hit, both fans and critics alike, with praise being directed towards its characters and its changes to the traditional isekai anime formula. The show has been such a success that Crunchyroll streams the series in North America alongside Funimation has already confirmed that it will return for a third season. The Rising of the Shield Hero was originally created by author Ameko Usagi. Originally published as a web novel in 2012, the series has since been adapted into a manga and an anime series. The anime is produced by Kinema Citrus, the animation studio behind Made in Abyss. The first season was directed by Takao Abo, who previously directed episodes of Macross Frontier and Eureka 7. Abo will be replaced in the second season by Masato Jinbo, who directed both seasons of Restaurant to Another World and several entries in the Fate franchise. The second season of the anime will be co-produced by South Korean animation studio DR Movie, while most of the cast and crew from the original series original run will return to reprise their roles for the continuation. Well, there we go with that one. All right, so if you guys have anything you'd like to add to the conversation, feel free to do so. That, I guess, is what Michael Lacerna um, looks like, I guess. So getting ready to move on to this. Here's a profile piece we're going to look at. What is dark fantasy and what are the best series to watch? So we're going to learn a little bit about dark fantasy here. Let's see. Fantasy anime are fun, but there's something fascinating about the gruesomeness of dark fantasy shows like Madoka Magica and Doro Hidoro. Article by Mark York, published 10 hours ago. And yes, I've seen Magi um, Madoka Magica. It is pretty surreal. And the music just contributes to its surrealness. Anyways, idea of a fantasy anime seems like a fun concept. A world where magical powers, mystical creatures, and other things now found in the real world sounds interesting and exciting. However, for every cool sounding fantasy element, there's a not so cool interpretation of it. The dark fantasy genre is chock full of not so cool interpretations of fantasy. Excuse me a moment again. I got to go take care of my dog. I'll be right back. Stick around. I'm back. Well, anyways, all right. So let's continue on with the article here. The dark fantasy genre is chock full of not so cool interpretations of fantasy. Takes the genre's elements and makes them unpleasant, violent, and downright terrifying. Most fantasy stories make audiences wish they could explore and be a part of their world. Dark fantasy stories, on the other hand, make them feel content with their peacefully mundane lives. um, Regardless, there are plenty of good, entertaining stories to be told by good writers. In order to get started on a good dark fantasy anime or manga, here's what to look out for. And that right there is, I think, from Puella Magi Madoka Magica, that picture right there. Hmm. One of the primary goals of dark fantasy is, ironically, disenchantment. With dark fantasy, the writer will try to show a world where magic and other elements of fantasy might not be the escapist dreams that audiences hope for. A good example of this would be something like Puella Magi Madoka Magica. This series takes the magical girl genre that seems to have been played out by series like Sailor Moon and Pretty Cure and adds its own horrifying twist. In this sense, dark fantasy series can be interpreted as cautionary tales, advising audiences to be careful what they wish for, which is true. Dark fantasy will generally make their characters much more prone to death than other genres. This doesn't just apply to villains and side characters either. Some authors of dark fantasy are bold enough to kill off main characters and fan favorites without a moment's notice. Um, those interested in a fantasy series where anybody can die at any time may want to check out series like Akame ga Kill or Attack on Titan. Let's see. I also believe there's another one that comes to mind too. I'm just trying to remember. Kami got Kill and Attack on Titan. What's another? Because there another one that was kind of in my head a little bit there. I was starting to think about. Higurashi when they cry. Um, Higurashi when the doves when they cry. That's another one that kind of has that element to it too. Another thing that can make a fantasy anime dark is how bleak and dreary it looks. Doro Hedoro is a good example of this. Um, Not only does the sorcerer's magic come out as this unappalling black smoke, but the setting and characters have this rundown look to them. This is mainly caused by the series' washed out color palette and the general grimy details of any given background, especially the dead bodies, flies, and blood splatters. Everything about this world, despite being wholly fantastical, looks disgusting and uninviting. This is to say nothing of the demonic nature of the spells or the character's general disregard for human life. And of course, again, if any of this strikes your fancy, feel free to comment on any of this as I'm reading it. conversations are always good to have. Any series that's been published by Shonen Jump will be hard pressed to fall into this genre. Jump's optimistic themes of friendship, effort, and victory often come at the cost of the gritty realism present in dark fantasy. There may be some exploration of harsher truths of reality, but the goal of most Jump protagonists is to find a way past that harshness. Naruto, Yu Yu Hakusho. Well, I don't know if Hajime no Ippo was one that was in Shonen Jump. Dragon Ball, maybe. Well, maybe Dragon Ball not as much, but um, as such, readers can expect everything to work out in the end. Of course, just because Jump focuses on finding positive solutions to life's problems doesn't mean it can't have darker elements. Such elements include making Faustian bargains for power, Faustian bargains for power, macabre abilities and aesthetic choices, and of course, death around every corner. Works like Hunter x Hunter, Jujutsu Kaisen, and Chainsaw Man all have dark fantasy elements to them because they still technically adhere to Jump's core themes. Death Note, another Jump original, can also be viewed as a dark fantasy despite its setting. While the series takes place in modern Japan, its main character uses a magic notebook that can kill whose ever name is written in it. The book itself comes from the world of the Shinigami, grotesque creatures with the dominion over death. This series, despite its real world setting, qualifies as dark fantasy. Because it utilizes supernatural powers in morbid and horrifying ways. All right, as we continue on here. It's important to remember that just because a fantasy anime is dark doesn't mean it has to be completely dour. Take Berserk, for example. This series is infamous for its demonic entities, excessive violence, and heavy sexual undertones. Yes, Berserk is a very, very adult, very adult anime. Definitely, probably nobody under 17 should be watching it. But if you're a parent and you feel that somebody you have a 15, 16-year-old, you feel they can handle it, more power to you. But probably not really one for anybody under 17. The very first scene of the manga has the protagonist Guts fornicating a demon and then killing it. Okay. This sets the tone for most of the series to be about over the top mature themes and content, but it's not everything. Sure, there are trolls and ogres, but there are also unicorns and elves. For every landscape made out of anguishing human faces, yeah, and that is, I do remember from the anime there was definitely a scene of anguishing skull heads. That much I do kind of remember. Let's see. There's an enchanted forest that's beautiful and even pleasant. A good story where it's a dark fantasy, regular fantasy, and even nonfiction. Knows how to showcase both light and dark of its setting. As unfun as dark fantasy sounds, there is an appeal to the genre. These titles trigger people's morbid curiosity in ways other genres can't, and anyone who can stomach its more gruesome moments will be rewarded with engaging and entertaining stories. Oh, there we go with that one. And if anybody out there has anything you'd like to add to the conversation, feel free to. I'll be prepared to move on to next article here. Just past the hour mark already. Okay. Toradora, Taiga and Minori return in new 15th anniversary video. Now, Toradora, as I understand it, translates as Tiger Dragon. Okay, Taiga and Minori reunite in a new photo promo video for Toradora's 15th anniversary, so from back in 2007 is when it started, which sees the characters looking back on the original series events. Article by Michael Lacerna, published 9 hours ago. A new video celebrating 15 years of Toradora released. The new video sees the return of the quote unquote palm top tiger, Taiga Aisaka, once again portrayed by our anime voice actor Rie Kugimiya, and the eccentric Minori Kushieda, who is voiced by Yui Horie, also reprising her role from the classic series. The two characters look back on the events of the series as a new set of animated motion comic style plays. The video is set to the song Orange, quote unquote, which served as the second closing theme for the anime series. The song is performed by Kugimiya, Orie, and Eri Kitamura, who played the character Ami Kawashima. And you do have this in some cases with animes where sometimes the voice actors will lend their, that's how they get the whole idol status thing going, is that they'll not only be stereo or what they call voice actors, but they'll also be like singers as well. They'll, at times will actually sing some of the themes of the show. The new video is the latest bit of content to be released as part of Toradora's 15th anniversary. The romantic comedy, or rom-com as is now mentioned, previously showcased an all-new illustration of its colorful cast of characters, and the series publishers have teased plans to release even more new material soon as part of the ongoing celebration surrounding the series' big birthday. Toradora originally began in 2006 as a light novel series, which was created by author Yuyuko Takemiya and illustrator Yasu. The novels were then adapted into a manga in 2007. That's probably what they're talking about, the 15th anniversary of the manga. Finally, into an anime series in 2009. The anime was produced by JC Staff, the animation studio behind Is It Wrong to Pick Up a Girl in a Dungeon and Food Wars Shogeki no Soma. All these versions of the story have received a positive response from critics and were among the most popular releases in their respective forms of media during the years following their debut. The series tells the story of Ryuji Takasu, a high schooler whose permanent scowl makes him look like an intimidating delinquent. But in actuality, he is a very kind and responsible young man. He meets his exact opposite in Taiga Aisaka, the next door neighbor and classmate whose petite and cute appearance masks a temperamental and violent disposition. The two form an unlikely alliance when they both realize they are in love with each other's best friends and agree to help each other get closer to their crushes. Uh, Toradora, the Toradora anime can be seen on Netflix, Prime Now, Tubi, Funimation, and Crunchyroll. The light novels and manga are also available in English in both physical and digital formats from publisher Seven Seas Entertainment. Oh, there we go with that one. We have people working, maybe? All right. So, anyways, moving on to the next article here. How many more we got left? Well, I know we had two animation ones left, and we actually only have look like only just the one. So we've got three articles left. In oh no, actually four. I'm sorry, four. Flying Witch: The Ultimate Relaxing Slice of Life. Got four articles left. The best isekai anime to watch after reincarnated as a slime. All right. So anyways, the best isekai anime to watch after reincarnated as a slime. Whether in the role of the world's greatest villain or one of the lowest mob enemies, these anime provide original twist on the isekai genre. Article by Chris Nishijima, published 7 hours ago. At the time I got reincarnated as a slime, may be one of the quintessential examples of a high quality modern isekai, um, with its focus on world building and intrigue, its wide cast of enduring characters, and unique premise for its plane shifting hero. It's packed with plenty of content to warrant its overly long name. Season 2 of the series wrapped up last September, but even with the upcoming film expected in fall of 2022, there's plenty of time to fill with other thrilling creative isekai series. To bide time while waiting for more from Rimuru and the gang, check out the following isekai anime selected just for fans of the universe's most powerful slime. Let's see here. The Rising of the Shield Hero Isekai with game elements. Rising of the Shield Hero is an excellent pick for those who enjoyed the game-like elements of Rimuru's journey. After arriving in a fantasy realm, Naofumi Iwatani takes on the role of the Shield Hero, one of the four heroes of legend. However, after being betrayed by the kingdom's denizens and cast aside as a pariah, he loses all faith in other people. By building his skills and investing in the loyal party members he recruits along the way, Naofumi finds a way to survive and defend the world that rejected him. In addition to having a deeply developed world with plenty of history, Shield Hero recreates the satisfaction of building one skills from next to nothing. Fans of Reincarnated as Slime will love the attention to detail in the world systems and rules with Naofumi finds a way to turn to his advantage. Well, Naofumi finds a way to turn rules to his advantage. Konosuba, perfect isekai blend of action and comedy. One of the best parts of Reincarnated as a Slime is how it strikes a good balance with epic action and heartfelt comedy. Kazuma Sato may have the combined power of three advanced class members on his side, but the fallen goddess Aqua, the volatile magician Megumin, and the masochistic crusader Darkness proves themselves much more trouble than help in their everyday adventures. Konosuba contains one of the most lovable cast goofballs in isekai history, walking a tightrope between rip-roaring hilarity and sincere moments of character development. It creates a feel-good atmosphere similar to Reincarnated as a Slime. Still, while it's primarily a comedy, it has plenty of existing and nail-biting battles against fierce foes. Likewise, with all its RPG aspects, Konosuba makes his audience feel like they're growing along with the cast as it levels up. Hmm. So I'm a spider, so what? From weakling to powerhouse. The most apparent original aspect of Reincarnated as a Slime is its gimmick in taking the protagonist and making them into a seemingly weak beginner monster. So I'm a Spider, so what does likewise by making its hero to one of fantasy's most frequently fought creatures, though the latter was met with mixed reception during its run. Um, there's no denying the many similarities between the two series. After coming back to life as a nameless spider, the being formerly known as high school student Shiratori must figure out how to navigate her new existence. Initially, she begins by learning to survive with her new set of arachnid skills. However, over time, she masters this way of life and begins to accumulate immense powers all her own, just like Rimuru. Overlord, Isekai with a high stakes power struggle. While Rimuru usually just wants to enjoy life in peace with those he cares about, he is not afraid to appear formidable when the situation calls for it. Overlord is another anime that navigates the nuance between playing a villain and acting heroically. Following the shutdown of its favorite online RPG, series protagonist Satoru Suzuki awakens in the body of his character Momanga to find himself transported to a world very similar to that of the game. Hmm. Embracing the role of the character he played, Momanga continues to fulfill his position as an all powerful force of evil, but continues to perform altruistic deeds in secret. Similar to Rimuru's followers, Momanga is surrounded by a large group of colorful subordinates. Together, they become embroiled in high stakes power struggle for notoriety and influence. Let's see now. How the realist hero rebuilt the kingdom. Reincarnated as a slime is full of complex relationships and histories between its many denizens. For a series that treats its setting with the same degree of intricate detail, look to how a realist hero rebuilt the kingdom. Kazuya Soma is brought to a land of swords and sorcery as its hero. Using his civil expertise, Soma becomes king of the nation that summoned him, leading them to political and diplomatic success. Realist Hero is lighter on the video game inspiration that drives other isekai. Instead, it takes a holistic approach to world building, creating numerous countries and people groups that interact with each other in a realistic manner. This is a good isekai for anyone whose favorite part of Reincarnated as a Slime was seeing Rimuru as a leader of the Jura Tempest Federation, and is a perfect pick for any strategist out there. And there we go with that one. Still though. All right, so the next article here. Flying Witch is the ultimate relaxing slice of life anime. And I would have to agree with that, considering I've seen at least some of it. I haven't watched the whole thing through, but I've watched some of it before. It is just that. Although unfortunately overlooked during its season by many anime fans, Flying Witch remains one of the best relaxing anime of all time. Here's why. Article by Jonathan Reno, published 6 hours ago. Sometimes people just want to throw on a show and relax. However, finding a relaxing show can be difficult. Many anime series work to keep viewers on the edge of their seats for the entire runtime, with exciting events and high octane action. However, without a doubt, the best relaxing anime is Flying Witch. Based on the manga written and illustrated by Chihiro Ishizuka, the series was produced by JC Staff and released in 2016, like 6 years ago. Although it was unfortunately overlooked by many viewers during its season, but what exactly makes Flying Witch one of the best relaxing anime of all time? The story of Flying Witch. Flying Witch follows Makoto Kawada, a young witch apprentice. When witches turn 15 years old, they leave home to study witchcraft. So Makoto packs up her things, along with her cat familiar Cheeto, leaves Makoto's parents' house in Yokohama and moves to Hirosaki in Aomori. They moved to Hirosaki for two reasons. The first is that Makoto's aunt, uncle, cousin Kei Kuramoto, and his little sister Shinatsu live in Hirosaki, and they are willing to let Makoto stay with them. Secondly, Aomori um, is very popular with witches due to its semi-rural nature and abundance of magic. Once she arrives, Makoto quickly settles into her new life. However, while she may attend high school like any regular girl, Makoto often finds herself in the middle of strange and comical events. These events are usually made more surreal by Makoto's magical connection. Really? Why Flying Witch is one of the best relaxing anime. Flying Witch is one of the most relaxing anime ever created, with all the elements coming together to make a wonderfully laid back show. The plot and format of Flying Witch are why it is such a relaxing has such a relaxing aura. The series is a slow, easygoing slice of life series that follows Makoto as she navigates tiny day to day issues and tasks. There isn't an antagonist, nor is there an overarching grand plot. In fact, the stakes never get higher than someone getting lost while looking around the town. The stories also develop very naturally. The show's pacing is unhurried, and the cast often stumbles into what they're trying to do or gets distracted and starts doing something else, which help the show feel calm and serene. Many viewers describe the show as quote dreamlike unquote because of this free form rambling nature. hmm One of the best things about Flying Witch is the cast. All the characters feel very natural and realistic, not necessarily an easy feat when dealing with magical creatures, as it's often tempting to convey their otherworldly nature through weird or eccentric behaviors. However, in Flying Witch, fantastical beings feel like the locals of any regular town about their business. Even Cheeto, the magic familiar, acts as an actual cat would act. This helps make the setting seem very lived in, with the real world location of Hirosaki feeling like the kind of small community that many people might dream of moving to. The soundtrack is also wonderfully chill, composed by Yoshiaki Dewa. It features a fun mix of light orchestral pieces that are simultaneously calm and playful, perfectly capturing the raw nature of Aomori and the cast's curiosity and drive for adventure. Which is true. This is a pretty nice anime. As I said, I've seen it. It's a pretty sweet anime. You know. Hmm. All right, as we continue on here. Let's see now. This is all wrapped up with some beautiful animation. Semi-rural setting of Hirosaki allows the animators to show off some gorgeous vistas and amazingly detailed natural scenes, making it one of the most picturesque settings ever seen in anime. It really feels like a perfectly idealized community, simultaneously beautiful and mundane. So, for those looking to unwind this year, Flying Witch is the show to check or recheck out. Beautiful, charming, more memorable. The series deserves more fans it is so um, because it so perfectly does what it sets out to do. Right, so now we're done with the anime stories. We got a couple of animation stories still to do here. All right. So, anyways, we're getting down to the last couple of stories here. So, all right. So, Young Justice reveals HBO Max return date window with a new trailer. Trailer for the DC animated series Young Justice Phantoms features new footage and confirms the series returns to HBO Max. Article by John Arvidon, published 6 hours ago. The return window for Young Justice Phantoms has been revealed. A new trailer confirms that the back half of season 4, which went on hiatus in December 2021, returns to HBO Max this spring. Young Justice was created by Brandon Vietti and Greg Weisman, based on the DC team of the same name. The show centered on young heroes like Robin, Kid Flash, Aqualad, and Superboy, but despite being a fan favorite cartoon, the show was canceled in 2013 after 2 seasons and 3 years on the air. Despite its cancellation, a prolonged fan campaign resulted in a Young Justice revival on DC Universe, which has since been folded into HBO Max. Season 3 premiered in 2019, which in 4 arriving in 2021. Quote, Young Justice has not yet been picked up for a fifth season, unquote, Weisman recently said, while encouraging fans to continue showing their support for the series. Quote, so if fans want more of Earth 16, I guess named after 2016 when it came back, the answer is simple. Hashtag keep bringing Young Justice all 4 seasons over and over and over and over and help us hashtag spread the word. We want to hashtag save Earth 16. Young Justice Phantoms returns this spring on HBO Max. Alrighty then, so we got one more article to get through. Down to the last article here. Nobody's come back. All right, so yeah. All right, the hour 40 mark. So, all right, so here we go. The Simpsons star as a response to complaints about the show's quality. In smaller quotes, F you. The Simpsons star Yardley Smith has a pretty explicit response to some of the show's critics and their complaints about the show's quality. Article by Molly Kiesman, published 4 hours ago. The team behind The Simpsons rejects the notion that the long running comedy is past its prime. In an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, Yardley Smith, who voices Lisa Simpson, opened up about the remarks that rub her the wrong way. Quote, my feeling today is most people say the show hasn't been good since season 10, unquote. And it's like, bleep you. The piece that goes along with a comment like that is, quote, I can't believe they don't try anymore. That is so offensive to me. You'll never meet more hardworking writers, animators, and actors than at The Simpsons, unquote, she said. Yeah, but the only problem here is that there is no progression of a story there. Okay? Granted, while a lot of classic cartoons like Looney Tunes, like Flintstones, why they lasted the test of time because they knew when to stop producing new material. Because they had all the material that they could just run in syndication. Okay? They ran out of like new material, new ways to really present the material after probably season 10. I mean, look, Bart is still 10 years old. Lisa's still 8 years old. And granted, while you have had characters die in the show, mind you, the fact is that as with many cartoons, it's stale. It's still pretty episodic. It's still, granted, maybe you can have certain things kind of um you can have things kind of we do have somebody back here now. You do have things where, you have elements where like president like back in the late 80s there when you had, the shots taken at Bush, and then I'm sure of course they've had Obama and Biden and Trump all in there as well more recently, and but for the most part you're gonna run out of stuff with cartoons. I mean, you know, that's pretty much yeah. There's no progression of time there. Excuse me a moment. I'm gonna go off camera for just a quick moment. I'll be right back. Anyways, let's continue on with the article here. Nancy Cartwright, who voices Bart Simpson, agreed with her co-star, saying, "quote It also bothers me that is just a critical person. My response is, in smaller quotes, what are you doing? Everyone is just trying to get by, especially with the pandemic. And that may be the underlying problem too. Kind of an apathetic attitude too. That might be why it comes off that way. So to have a show that still brings lightness and thought-provoking storylines after 33 years was still culturally relevant, that is mind-boggling. Yeah, the problem is that Bart is still 10 years old after 33 years. Lisa is still 8 years old after 33 years. Okay? Maggie is still a baby after 33 years. You know, there comes a point when people do kind of get tired of the whole kind of frozen in time bit, you know. And of course, feel free to comment on anything that I'm saying here or comment on the article we're looking through here. And if you haven't already, if you can like and share the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people in here, that'd be appreciated. Anyways, there is little question that The Simpsons owes its longevity to its dedicated fans. However, the intensity of a fandom can be a double-edged sword. Smith acknowledged that it's sometimes a fine line to walk. Quote, "You have to coexist with the fans because without an audience, there is no show," unquote. Smith said. Nevertheless, she was adamant that the relationship can quickly turn unhealthy. Quote, "The amount of armchair quarterbacking on the internet, where it is so easy to fire off something really horrible, the toxic fandom, has become its own animal," unquote. The voice actor said, quote, "There are entire Reddit threads on how poopy The Simpsons is now." Well, when you're regurgitating a lot of the same stuff over and over again, yes, it is going to start to stink. When you're just, you're just, you just, it's like you really going to spend all the time or something you don't even, on something you don't even enjoy. I think it's supposed to be on, but they put or, so there's a little typo right there. You all need to get a hobby. Oh man. Oh boy. Hmm. Whatever detractors it may have, The Simpsons has cemented itself as a staple of television landscape. It is the longest running animated TV show in U.S. history, originally created by Matt Groening as a series of shorts on the Tracy Ullman Show. The Fox Classic is now in its 30, it's supposed to say in, I think, but they typoed again on its 33rd season. It shows no signs of slowing down. The 2019 D23 Expo, executive producer, writer Matt Selman spoke of endless possibilities for the show. Quote, "I think Disney would be supportive of anything we wanted to do. Maybe a crazy limited series with a side character or a movie that we surprised you with," unquote. He shared, quote, "They've been really creatively supportive, and this is going to afford so many new ways to do the show that just a traditional format." Again, though, reason I'm sure that a lot of people are saying that has been good because you run a show that long and there's no progression there, it's gonna get stale. You're gonna be using you've used the same formula for like 33 years. Bart has been 10 years old for 33 years. Lisa has been um 8 years old for 33 years. Maggie has been a baby for 33 years. ah. At a 2021 Comic Con panel, similar conversations arose about Simpsons' future. Smith admitted the series is probably closer to its end than not, but joked that, quote, if series producer David Merkin were here, he'd say we're only halfway through, unquote. On a more serious note, Selman contemplated that the final episode would be a tough one to write. Quote, it just doesn't seem like you could end this show without any planning. It just doesn't seem right, he said. Though, he added, while a smile, it also seems like, um, in one form or another, Disney will never let the show end, or we might not ever have to worry about it, unquote. Hmm. Let's see. The Walt Disney Company closed its $71.3 billion acquisition of the 21st Century Fox back in 2019. In parentheses, The Simpsons, known for its prescient episodes, actually predicted this acquisition in a season 10 episode. Unparentheses. The historic merger gave Disney ownership of the Simpsons and a host of other film television properties, including X-Men, Deadpool, Die Hard, Home Alone, and Family Guy. All seasons of The Simpsons are exclusively streaming on Disney Plus. However, some subscribers will notice that they don't have access to all episodes. Disney recently faced backlash after removing an episode for Hong Kong subscribers that made reference to the Tiananmen Square massacre. New episodes of The Simpsons air on Sundays, 8 p.m. Eastern Pacific on Fox. Season 34 is expected to premiere this fall. Again, a lot of the criticism is, particularly an animated series, if you run an animated series like that for that long, you know, at least with like the Flintstones and the Jetsons, there at least was some progression. The characters did seem to age a bit, particularly the Flintstones, right? I mean, you actually on the Flintstones, which was an animated show, mind you. They actually did have the depiction of a baby being born. Now, granted, I know Simpsons done that too, probably, but you know, even in their franchise, they've had other programs like Pebbles and Bam Bam Show where they've actually shown Pebbles and Bam Bam like as teenagers and as young adults. There's been some progression of time there. So that's where I think a lot of the criticism comes from. And that's what I think Yardley's not really understanding is that when you do a show like that, when you do an animated show, particularly for that long, and there's no progression of time, it can get kind of stale. Maybe they should have ended it after 10 seasons. They weren't going to have. I mean, Bart should be like, basically at this point, you should have Bart and Lisa in their 40s, probably raising their own families, and Maggie as well. you know, Homer and Marge are probably either off somewhere retired or have passed away. But I mean, I know they did do like as I said, they've had characters die in there. They had like Mrs. Flanders die. They had and then when of course Marcia Wallace passed away, I know they did do a special kind of about her, where you saw Bart in the in that chalkboard scene saying, "We miss you, Miss Krabappel." You know, um, but with anime, again, what makes like classic cartoons, classic anime, like Looney Tunes, like Famous Studios, like MGM, what makes these timeless is that even though they don't progress, they still stay in the time that they're in. People will still love to watch shows like Tom and Jerry, like Merry Melodies, like Popeye, you know, just to go back to simpler times. You know, I know that they did have a show, they did have a cartoon in the late '80s there, Popeye and Son. Where they did kind of progress a little bit, where Popeye and Olive had gotten married, and Bluto had I guess gotten married to somebody, um, and of course, families had kids. Um, yeah. So, we're at pretty much towards the end. We're already coming up on the 2 hour mark. We're going to be running a little over again here. But as such, it looks like I was the only one who was here the majority of the time. I think RJ was here earlier. Um, so hopefully people will catch this on the replay. Um, so with that, we'll start to wind down here. Let me see, 2016, 1997. 1997 and then 2002. Okay. Say, and okay, so with that, we'll start to wind down. And don't forget, tomorrow night's our historical comic retrospect, and hopefully Batgoat will be with me. Hasn't been here all week, so I don't know if he'll be able to make it or not, but I'll, of course, send him the link, and hopefully he'll reply back to me that he will be able to make it. We'll get back to, we'll be finishing up our coverage of September 1930 tomorrow, covering covering finishing up our coverage of September of 1938 with Tip Top Comics number 1, volume 1, number 30. We'll be reading through that and discussing some of the highlights of that. So with that, guys, let's go ahead and start to finish off here. The connection's unstable. All right, I'm gonna try to finish this up here. Yeah, hopefully. And it's really, really trying to annoy me. And I can tell that I am being low when I'm looking over the YouTube. All right, I'm going to try to finish this up real quick then. All right, so without any further ado, let's take a look back. Today is Thursday, July the 6th, July the 10th, or I'm sorry, Thursday, February the 10th, 2022. Let's take a look back at this day in each history. And first off, we're going to head back 25 years ago today. So we head back to 1997. On this date, 1997, WCW Monday Nitro held its event at the Jacksonville Coliseum in Jacksonville, Florida. In the main event saw Chris Benoit and Steve McMichael with Deborah and Woman in their corner defeat Jeff Jarrett and Chavo Guerrero Jr. Among some of the other highlight matches included Lord Steven Regal and Rey Mysterio Jr. going to a time limit draw for the WCW World Television Championship. The Outsiders, Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, sticks in their corner, retaining their title over the team called the Extreme, Ace Sterling and Devin Storm of the East Coast independent scene. And start off the night, Dean in a champion versus championship match. Dean Malenko defeated Dean Malenko, who was the cruiserweight champion at the time, defeated the U.S. champion Eddie Guerrero via countout. So there we go with that. 1987. Moving on now to the next piece in each history. We move ahead to 2002. As on this date in 2002, the Nickelodeon series Action League Now came to an end. On this date in 2002, which was 20 years ago today, the Nickelodeon series Action League Now came to an end. With that being said, one last piece in each history before we head out. On this day in each history, on this day back in 2016, 6 years ago today, the 10th issue of Descender from Image Comics went on sale today. Part 4 of the Machine Moon storyline, written by Jeff Lemire, art done by Dustin Nguyen, not the actor, not the one who played Aoki on 21 Jump Street. This is somebody else entirely. And the lettering done by Stevie Wandis. So with that, guys, I thank everybody for being here. We'll be back tomorrow night with the historical comic retrospect. Hopefully Backup will be with me. So until then, bye.